presents the three finalists for NHL Play of the Year. Play number one, Mario Lemieux's improvisation versus Vancouver.
Somehow Lemieux put that puck in.
Let's see what he does here. Oh, my goodness.
There's not another guy on earth that can do that.
Play number two, Chris Osgood robs the Avalanche.
Man, oh, man, what a save!
Play number three, Jaromir Jagr skates circles around the Bruins. The MasterCard NHL Play of the Year will be revealed during coverage of the Stanley Cup Final.
An explosive second period of play. This was the third goal by Colorado's new recruit. Colorado on top 3-1 after 2 periods of play. You know, if you've missed the playoffs this season up to this point, you've missed some outstanding hockey. But guess what? We've got the highlights here for you. And once you get done looking at these choice cuts, you won't want to miss any more action.
Toronto goal. Murphy back, dives. Hall waits. Hall shoots. He scores!
Here goes for the game. Penalty shot on Reagan. Juno shooting. Save!
Oh, what a save!
Nedved waits. Deeks shot score! Peter Nedved scores in the fourth overtime.
Patty Balloon goes right, left, right. What a pair of hands.
Was all by himself, and Leach found it. Great save of Murphy once, twice. Bring it in, Canadians. Amazing, amazing. Sackett, he scores! Welcome to superstardom. Watch this hit. Was flattened by Jovanovski.
Of course, and now to Gretzky. Partial break. Bergevin cutting him off. He scores! 99!
Around Primer, throws it in deep shot, score by Mario Lemieux! It's all Gretzky, save, that's good! LeMay fires off of Osgood, man, oh man, what a save! Jaromir, he should save Big Rock, and he closes the rebound! Balloon breaking, balloon shot, Van Beesbrook! Boy, good hit by Lemieux. Eisenman picks it up. Eisenman moving. Blue line chance. Score! Steve Eisenman! Detroit wins! Forsberg in. Shot! Score! In Florida, celebrate your team season.
And don't forget to check out Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals on ESPN Thursday night. The Florida Panthers looking to continue their Cinderella run as the Eastern Conference champions go up against the Colorado Avalanche. It all begins at 7:30 with the quest for the Cup. Game 1. Third period continues after this.
As a rule, engines develop good torque only when you push hard on the accelerator.
Because they've got a 3-1 lead. Let's hear from Sandra Neal.
Doc, what a change in momentum. You know, I asked the assistant coach, Dwayne Sutter, if perhaps a Game 7 against Pittsburgh, maybe the altitude has been a problem. He says, no way. We've made critical mental errors. We've caused too many turnovers. We got to get back to our game in this period. Now let's hear from Joe.
Okay, Sandra, thanks very much. Obviously, the Colorado coaches were much happier with the second period. But interestingly enough, they say the ice is the worst it's been in the playoffs. They're very concerned with it, so they're going to play a very conservative third period. They're going to dump the puck in the neutral zone, and they're going to try and prevent Florida from carrying the puck. Now let's go back upstairs to Doc and JD.
Well, the general manager of the team, Pierre Lacroix, was down with the people who handle the ice making this afternoon in the late afternoon hours. Has been quite concerned about whether there's too much water left on the ice, and that of course would disadvantage his team too because they've got such speed.
Yeah, well, actually the Florida team think they happen to be pretty quick too, but there's no doubt that the Colorado team, when they up-tempo the pace, and we saw that in the second period, they're very, very dangerous. In the first period, Colorado never got shots on goal. They attempted 18, only 6 on goal. In the second period, they attempted 18. They got 12 of those 18 on goal. It made a difference. They won key face-offs. they really showed why they're the Western Division champions, the Western Conference champs.
Well, let's take a look at the Bud Ice statistics through 2 periods. Mark Crawford, pretty happy with his team right now. Shots on goal, 12-6 in the first period for the Panthers. They were out face-off 14-11 and scored a goal. But in the second, what a shift. 15-6 the shots, 17-9 the face-off wins, and 3 goals for Colorado. And Mike Ricci has just been outstanding when it comes to winning those draws.
16 of 19 is a very high percentage. Colorado going into the series thought that they might be 50-55%, but with that type of performance, that really gives you a good percentage. Colorado wanted speed. They wanted to go to the net hard. They wanted to stay away from turnovers. In the first period, they didn't do any of that. In the second period, they did all of that. So let's see what happens in the third.
They have 30 seconds of a power play, the Panthers do, at the outset of the period on the Ricci minor. Ed Jovanovski, 19-year-old defenseman, to play it. Jovanovski passed it on a cross, but it's tipped further by Svela, regathered by Gusarov, and he's able to swing it back down. So only 10 seconds left on the kill for Colorado. Svela put it behind. Straka and Svela, as well as Jovanovski out. Ricci is out of the box, and things are even up again. And here comes Sakic for another breakaway. Oh, he got a piece of that one too, Van Beesbrook, and it glanced off the outside of the cage.
And Svela made the bad play when Ricci went right at him. Ricci created the turnover. Sakic on his other breakaway went to the glove side. Van Beesbrook stopped him. This time he went to the stick side, and I either missed the net or Van Beesbrook got a piece of it.
Jovanovski, and the pass came across but was cut. Sakic turns it over to Scott Young. Young staggered down, could not get it through to Sakic. Ricci, a shot that was tipped wide.
There again was another turnover. Svela, who's played brilliantly in the playoffs, can't make a pass out of his zone.
Lowry shoulders with LeBay. Detmarsh tried to knock it out, but it is Shepard with the help of Warner. The shot remarkably went off the outside of the goal after going through legs. Back up the boards for the chop-off Warner, who kept play alive. Stalemated with Detmarsh. Moving ahead is Forsberg, wedged off by Lowry. Warner came back to help, but now it's Forsberg again. Lowry shaken up. Puck bent to the front. Tip by Murray. Shot right on goal by Kamensky. And Van Beesbrook keeps this. A 3-1 game with Colorado ahead.
And he certainly is doing that. You know, here's a change at the bench. Sakic will be the player to jump on the ice. Ricci challenges right here the puck. Makes the turnover, creates it when Svela couldn't make the pass. This time, Sakic to the stick side. I don't know if he missed it or Van Beesbrook got a piece of it or not. Now here, you're seeing Forsberg. He doesn't go down when he's hooked. He continues to battle. And then Kamensky will end up getting the good shot. Kamensky had a strong second period for Colorado. And a good play here as Van Beesbrook robs him. Kamensky was quiet in the Detroit series. Van Beesbrook's style, staying up, reading, following the play. The head never moves. Same height all the time as he moves across the net. And there he makes a real good save on Kamensky.
Little history lesson, John. Your time of the New York Rangers and John Van Beesbrook's, did they overlap?
1981, John's first ever NHL game was right here, and he beat the Colorado Rockies, as they were called then, 2-1. And as a young kid, I think he was what, 17 or 18 years of age at the time, a 2-1 win in your first ever NHL game is some story.
That is off Van Beesbrook's glove and is taken by Laws. Paul Laws, whose team trails by 2. Gives to Jovanovski, then back again to Laws. Driven wide. Fitzgerald couldn't keep, but Jovanovski has it. Shoots one, pad stop wide. And it's been along Jovanovski again, but this time it hopped back. Garfinloff's try was knocked down. Fitzgerald put one out in front, and it popped up in the air for the grab by Waugh.
Swarming defense now by the Avalanche. In front, the Panthers wanted the clean shot, never got it. And Patrick Waugh very casually made the save and held on to the puck. Man, has he been steady for this hockey club. Talking about Patrick Waugh. His overtime records, just amazing.
He had a string of 12 straight overtime wins until Chicago beat him this year. But 27-8 by our count. The governor of the state of Colorado's name's Roy Romer. He said, from now on, you can call me Wah Romer. Little political expediency. That's part of that business, though.
Oh, yes. Mike Keane here really barking at the referee. He wants the puck drop. He thinks Florida's spending way too much time trying to align themselves for the faceoff, as this Colorado team wants up-tempoed hockey.
Boy, Bill McCreary got in the middle of that and was feeling his head for a moment. He might have caught something there, but play is stopped, much to McCreary's relief, and we'll get a stoppage of play.
Bill McCreary's had a great year refereeing. He tries to get out of the way. Oh, man.
Oh, no place to hide.
Could have been elbowing. Mike Huff moves in. Oh, goodness. And here's Bill McCreary now talking to Brian Scruthan. I think he's trying to get Scruthan to get himself ready for faceoffs instead of skating around talking to teammates and taking his time and dictating the pace before the faceoff. He wants Scruthan ready so the puck can be dropped.
Puck won by the Panthers. On back to Spela. His shot. Oh, and it went through a maze of legs and skates and went wide. Round now off of Scruthan, but Terry Cartner drops back to play. 2:45 played in this third period. It was 1-0 in favor of the Panthers at the end of one, but 3 goals in less than 4 minutes midway in the second turned the tide for Colorado.
Might be time to talk about Colorado's defense. They're not allowing the Florida team to make any passes that are completed coming out of their zone.
Corbet moving in, shooting, and a save made by Van Beesbrook. Play is stopped at McNichols Arena, and the score remains 3-1, the Avalanche. Charlie Lyons, the man who brought hockey back to Denver, looking on here with a smile. In the foreground, John Van Beesbrook gets himself nourished and ready to go again. He has been stellar in this game, particularly since the score became 3-1. It would be a lot worse had he not made some superb stops.
And here we have Bill McCreary on the telephone talking to someone upstairs, and I'm not sure what it's about. Not sure at all. And that's the reason why the puck hasn't been dropped. He now readies himself, and Ray Scapanello will get ready for the draw. And again, it's Mike Ricci in the offensive zone on the faceoff. Sakic's the centerman. Ricci's the winger. Sakic goes to the wing. Ricci takes the draw. And does a pretty good job. And this time Florida controls the puck.
Turning with it is Niedermeyer. Worked over by Young. Puck worked back ahead for Mellenby. Then across for the dump back in. It went away from Waugh. Sent back up the boards. Straka jammed it behind. Niedermeyer there. Hammered by Sakic. And held to the boards. And then down he goes. There'll be a penalty coming up. And it'll be on Sakic. So there'll be a power play coming up to the Panthers.
Joe Sakic came all the way deep to his own zone to help out his team defensively. Watch him take the body here on the bigger centerman, Niedermeyer. But it's not that hit. Niedermeyer reacts with an elbow, but Sakic is called there for holding in the way he took Niedermeyer to the ice. Niedermeyer is a strong young kid, and there he kept battling for the puck as Florida's trying to use a little more passion in their game. It wasn't there in the second period. The takedown by Sakic is what gives him the minor penalty.
So the Panthers go to the power play again. This will be their 5th crack. They are 0 for the last 19, extending back into the last series against Pittsburgh. From the tie-up, it's kicked into traffic and back to Murphy. Hands it on a cross for a shot by Spela that ricocheted to the glass. Mellenby steamed into by foot. Good hit by Kamensky that time. Fed around behind. Spela trying to play it there. Keane lifts. Kept by Spela. Murphy a shot. And hurt on the play. Down to the ice is Yell. Stefan Yell. And with that, play is stopped.
Both these teams very healthy going into this Stanley Cup final. And Yell there has been a valuable player. Earlier when we talked about Ricci having injury problems throughout the year. When he had those injury problems, this fella here, Yell, got a chance to play a whole lot. And he earned himself a spot, and a big-time spot in the lineup. And here, with his team killing a penalty, you see him face the shooter, and he took it right off the ankle, and it just dropped him. Now, that's similar to the play that Ron Francis for Pittsburgh was caught with a slap shot from Adam Graves of the Rangers, and it broke a bone in his foot. And Ron Francis was done for the playoffs, and that really hurt Pittsburgh's chances of moving through the playoffs. He's a brilliant player, talking about Ron Francis. And here, Yell, this is a very disturbing sight for his hockey club. He's not getting up yet. Looks to be dazed.
First-year guy in the league, 22, and he's had difficult assignments in these playoffs. It's not often you count on a young forward to do what he has against the powerhouses they've been playing against, but Yell seems okay.
Flexing his left leg a little bit as he heads to the bench. Mike, we found out why Bill McCreary was on the telephone. A bank of lights, we understand, went out, and they were trying to discuss that. And here's the shot. That may have been a little higher than the ankle. May have caught him off the knee. And here's the lights up there that have gone out. So they were discussing, actually, it looks like parts of 2 sets of lights have gone out.
Well, we're still short of 1988 in Boston Garden, aren't we? There are only 8 are out here instead of all of them. What a strange situation that was. And the game could not be continued. Here's Murphy. Wrapped on around, now it's Barnes. Dumped around further. Spela there. And then around to Barnes. Stu Barnes, pressed by Foot. Puck jammed loose and taken by Shepherd. Ray Shepherd back. Spela waits. Tried to work one in front and then fired it wide. Gord Murphy with a keep. Wedges one back to the front, taken by Lowry, and then he's rammed to the boards by Foot. 2 aside, continue the battle. And it is finally cleared back out by Gusarov. And the Avalanche can make a change. 40 seconds to go in the power play to Florida. 15 minutes to go, third period. The Avalanche are ahead in the game 3-1. The puck laid on across now for Spela. Took the hit. And we get a stoppage of play on an offside. Well, it'll be where they toss the plastic rats. Saturday night, 8 o'clock. Colorado and Florida. And the screaming fans will be alive down there as they are here. One of the Penguin players referred to the fans in Florida as screaming doofuses. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
I hope it's not
real big. I have no chance. And game 2 will be Thursday night on ESPN. Gary Thorne and Bill Clement. Have fun, guys. I hope it's a great show. I hope this thing goes 7 games. I really do. These 2 cities would just love it. So would the rest of the country.
It's a tremendous health move for hockey to have teams that can compete like this. Guys, right out of the expansion, I think that one of the big aids for Florida was that teams could only protect one goalie, and a guy like John Van Beesbroek was available. Moving in now is Mellenby. Mellenby up along the board, still trying to control, and it's flipped back down.
The penalty killing unit really getting it done here, being aggressive as Florida gets in the zone, but not getting in the zone with any chance of setting up. That pass would have been a 2-line pass, so Florida's out of sync, and it's not because they're not trying, it's because Colorado is pushing them out of sync.
Down to the ice went Kamensky as well as Niedermeyer. Moving back is Sakic, fed across to Kamensky, and a shot went to the glass. Pinching in his foot now. Wrapped up and smashed to the glass by Mellenby. So Jovanovski connects on back with Law. Kamensky's pass misfired for Detmarsh, but he plays it on the bounce. Detmarsh moving in. Jovanovski took care of him. Dave Lowry across. Moving on is Fitzgerald. Shooting, and it went wide. Now Lowry fires, and that one was blocked aside. Beg your pardon, that was Bill Lindsay. Puck fed on back down by Fitzgerald, and so he gets help from his goaltender, John Van Beesbroek, and then Kartner. And then along to Lindsay again. Lindsay stood up by Krupp. Meanwhile, the puck bounced off near Garpenloff. It is Kartner, but then it is Corbet. Could not get away for the eventual 2-on-1 that would have occurred had Kartner not made the strong play. Back now comes Forsberg. Penalty coming up. Oh, and a hit by Fitzgerald on Forsberg, and now a penalty call. It is a slash. It is against the Panthers.
Man, did they battle along the board that started inside the Colorado zone. And the Avalanche doing a good job with the loose puck one-on-one battles. And Forsberg moves up the ice. There he gets away from Kartner. There he takes a slash. There he takes a cross-check. He's still on his feet. Kartner there takes down Corbet, and then Fitzgerald. Finally, somebody levels Forsberg with a big, hard, flying hit. Watch Fitzgerald, 21 red, move across. He might even leave his feet here as Forsberg had reached for the puck. No, he did not. Great hard hit. Well, what battles we're seeing here. The pace not as quick as the second period, but we're seeing a lot of hard battles. And we have a power play as Kartner got caught for slashing.
Florida has done very well in killing. Colorado is 0 for 5. They've gotten 6 shots on goal. At one time, it looked like this game had turned on a kill of a 5-on-3. And Florida took over and really dominated the rest of the first and led 1-0 after 1.
All 4 goals in this game have been scored at even strength. 3 by the Avalanche, 1 by the Florida club. There's Mr. Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the National Hockey League, in attendance. Done a great job they have in changing the perception of the game. Not long ago, some people would just say hockey, I don't know about that. Now it's accepted in most parts of the country, and its growth is something special. But again, talking about the goals that have been scored, 3 different lines have scored the 3 Colorado goals. 3 different lines have been on the ice for Florida. So there hasn't been one line that's had a real bad night. There has been one line that's had a great night. We saw Patrick Waugh have a special first period. We saw Mike Ricci be special on faceoffs. And we saw Colorado have just a tremendous second period.
This team moved here from Quebec City. Do they care about the squad? Yeah, they do. A telephone poll last week said that native Quebecers were supporting the Avalanche in these finals. 70 to 80% of them were going to cheer for the Avalanche, who last year were Nordiques. Boy, were they ever passionate about their team, and they're still passionate about the sport. One of the great places to visit, and this has become the same way because of the fervor for hockey. It is Murphy flopping one high. Skrudlin chopping for it with Ricci. Ricci trying to step by. Puck squibbed along to Mike Ricci behind. Hands over to Ozolinsh. Around now to Scott Young. Young watched by Skrudlin. Fed around behind to Forsberg. Forsberg swept one in front and Ricci taken down. Wrist off by Young, was deflected away by Van Beesbrook, and now it's Huff. Huff cleared it back down, nearing the halfway point of the penalty kill for Florida. So Gusarov advances it ahead. Then it's on to Sakic, then Kamensky. Kamensky fed it back off, and it is Laws blasting it around. Puck skipped on back to Krupp. Louis Krupp off Detmarsh, and then to Sakic, then back to Detmarsh again. Feeds to Ozolinsh. Fed one in front, and Detmarsh's shot was sniped out of the way. Fed back over to Ozolinsh once more. Ozolinsh bounced one that is grabbed by Van Beesbrook and play stopped with 37 seconds left on the power play.
Avalanche trying to move the puck around. Florida has what you call a pressure penalty killing unit. The Avalanche say, though, when they played Chicago in the playoffs this year and when they played Detroit in the playoffs, those teams put way more pressure on you. They challenge the puck all over the place. They said Florida does, but they sit back just a little bit more. So it looks like the Avalanche are trying to set up for that perfect play. So congratulations at the Florida bench for a good penalty kill to this point.
Have we officially reached chance-taking time now for the Panthers?
No,
with 11:46 to go?
I don't think so, Mike. I really don't. That's just not their character. They just want to get back to play a solid game and maybe counterpunch to get something. If there was 6 or 7 minutes to go, maybe, but I don't think yet.
Kamensky battles with Spela. Fed back to the point. Lefebvre shoots one. Deflected. It went just wide of the post. Skrudlin flies it back down, and Lefebvre will go back. Still 10 seconds to go on the power play, so there's no icing here. And Waugh helped out to get it to Lefebvre. Kartner standing, ready to come out of the box. Kamensky moving it back in. Valerie Kamensky, and out in front, Yell with a shot that just popped harmlessly off the defense for the grab by Van Beesbrook. Penalty box empties. 3-1 Colorado. From beautiful downtown Denver, Colorado 3, Florida 1. Midway in the third period, and off this face-off, Terry Kartner steps to it for the Panthers defense. Got help from Van Beesbrook. Then he played it ahead to Straka. Martin Straka bringing it on for the Panthers, and it's around near Waugh. Stopped. Not controlled. Worked around behind for a centering pass. Straka hurried a shot wide. Oh, a good pass from Mellenby out in front. Now Mellenby again high off Waugh, who made the stop. Good challenge by Florida, but answered by Patrick Waugh. Spela moving back, and Sakic on him. Shoves him to the boards and glass. Panthers shift from defense to offense again, moving ahead of Straka to put it back. On the tap of Waugh, it is now Adam Foote who brings it ahead. The Panthers have made a change in line. Keane put it back behind the goal. Van Beesbroek set for Murphy to clear it around. Fed behind by Reichel. 22 shots for the Panthers and 25 for the Avalanche. Bouncing puck to Warren Reichel.
Oh,
and he was chopped down by Van Beesbroek.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be a penalty. Van Beesbroek, usually when he sweeps the stick around like that, goes low. That time he went up high and caught the arm of Warren Reichel, or maybe the leg of Reichel, the way he's skating off. Watch Van Beesbroek swing it wildly to the right side. And there's the stick right over the left leg of Reichel. And he lost feeling and dropped immediately. Was it the leg or the arm? Ooh, right across the knee on the shin pad. You wouldn't think that would hurt the player, but still Van Beesbroek was careless with his stick.
We'll see how many minutes in a moment. It is 2. Let's check in with Joe Micheletti.
Okay, Mike, thanks. We have seen a couple of times in this period the officials out there helping out with the ice. It's been chipping, and you can see in some of the corners the ice still isn't dry or frozen from the resurfacing after the second period. It's very wet, and what happens, it's getting worse. It's starting to get slushy, and that's what the Colorado coaches were talking about prior to the third period, making sure they don't overhandle the puck and playing very conservative. Back to you guys.
79 degrees outside. It has been a warm day here in Denver, and there's great challenge at this time of year in almost any NHL city. The same we found in Florida.
Ray Shepard in the penalty box, serving the minor to John Van Beesbroek, who, his goaltending coach is Billy Smith, who was a little careless on occasion with his stick. This time Van Beesbroek puts his team down a man.
Off of Sakic to Ricci, along for Young. Skrudland steps to that one, though, and got it back out. So now a critical kill for the Panthers. It has been tough enough getting any offense in this game in the last period and a half. Now they're shorthanded. Barry Kartner there, jamming it back around. Kucherov in. Finessed it to the front, but it's Murphy. And Gord Murphy put a pass off Huff's stick. Now Sakic. Mike Ricci across to Ozolinsh. Still empty is the power play for Colorado in the game. The same case for Florida. Given away to Detmarsh. And he got it wide off of Van Beesbroek, who thrust his stick across.
The third breakaway we've seen in this one. Sakic with 2, Detmarsh with 1.
And it's shot all the way back down the ice. Well, Ozolinsh in the final 53 of the power play. Ozolinsh working it ahead. Now to Forsberg. Finesse by. Save. Van Beesbroek. Rebound. Trickle just wide. Spela behind. Splendid save by Van Beesbroek just a moment ago, but it almost rebounded in.
A little pushing and shoving the linesman there to break it up. That time Colorado on the rush do a nice job getting into the zone. It's a set rush. Now, if we look at it here, you see the puck being moved up ice on the power play. If we stop it there, you see the first man cutting across. When he does that, it opens up the ice here. It's a set design play. The pass goes across, bullseye, and then they can get into the zone. The key is the first man to stay on the blue line, open up the ice, and there you see the good one-on-one move, and Van Beesbroek forced to make the save on Forsberg. But that's a set play moving into the zone on the power play. There's Forsberg moving nicely around Spela, who's had a very tough night, a real strong, weak night, a very tough night here in Colorado.
Lefebvre will have to go back to get this one. Down to the last 32 seconds of the shorthand situation. Fed around behind to Krupp. Yui Krupp, whose team is ahead in this game 1, 3-1. Detmarsh hammered by Spela. Kamensky shoved in deep. Lifted off by Barnes, but kept for the pass over to Krupp. Shoots one, deflected in front, and Van Beesbroek stopped it and covers. Boy, John Van Beesbroek has been outstanding in this game close in.
You know, Mike, when you get into these games, defensemen can't take chances. And Yui Krupp just used a wrist shot. He didn't use the big wind-up. There he is back at the blue line. He's being pressured a little bit, so why not just get it towards the goal? That's when you work for a deflection. And Kamensky, who's had a strong game, was right there trying to get it done. Van Beesbroek will let go of his goal stick to try and find the puck. There's the shot, the save. Actually, Kamensky driving through, knocked the stick out of his hands. Van Beesbroek with terrific concentration, able to hang on.
So they're ready for one more face-off with 9 seconds still left on the Florida kill. Then there will be 8:05 to go in the third with the teams at full strength and the Panthers needing a pair.
The Panthers have to be aware of Shepard coming out of the penalty box and maybe set up a home run. The Avalanche certainly will be prepared for it. Good win by Hannon.
Foot shoots, save, and it's paddled away by Van Beesbroek. Penalty time is up. Shepard is out. Teams at full strength. Shepard not back in the play yet. Puck hacked along near Yell, and out in front had to be jabbed away by Van Beesbroek. Stefan Yell turned it on around, got it back, and the shot is knocked down by the defense. Played along for Barnes, and Barnes lifted it back to Adam Foote. Cranks it right back in off a stick. Delayed offside is White.
So Van Beesbroek does the job killing his own penalty, but he took 2 minutes off the clock taking the penalty, and that took away from time that his team needs to score.
Boy, Jovanovski flipped down by Corbeil. Good block by Gord Murphy, or Sakic might have been in alone for the third time of the game. Pass ahead was away from Lowry and down. It'll be icing, but now Waugh decides to fling it along as they waved off the icing call. It is Kartner along for Ray Shepard. Carried off by Clem, so Kartner has to play across to Murphy. Gordon Murphy will see even more time. One of the more offensive defensemen for the Panthers, and they need offense now. Just over 7 minutes to play in the third. Chip back in front, and here's Straka with it. Now turning along with it is Mellanby. Scott Mellanby fed it back to Kartner. Harry Kartner minutes by Deadmarsh, played it in. Mellanby trying to click something here for the Panthers along for Niedermeyer. Rob Niedermeyer turns. Mellanby a shot, and it went off a leg, a foot and wide. Straka over for a shot by Warner, and Waugh grabs and holds. Somewhere down below, a Davidsonian head is being scratched. Because some way or other, John and I will have to come up with the new Dodge player of the game, and it's not an easy call today.
Well, not to this point. And with Colorado owning a 2-goal lead, Lefebvre, a defenseman, usually plays with Ozolinsh. Now he's got Yui Krupp instead of Ozolinsh as his defense partner. Ozolinsh will sit on the bench because they have that lead. It's late in the game. Percentages say, why take a chance? Why take a chance on a turnover? So they're playing the defensive percentages right now and talking about Colorado.
Rob Niedermeyer waved out of the faceoff. Looks like Ricci is too.
You know, at the time of the TV timeout, the Niedermeyer line was on the ice. The coaching staff for Florida left them on the ice with Straka and Mellanby. They've been the best line here in the third period, in my mind, for Florida because they've been able to generate at least a bit of a scoring chance on the forecheck.
So as we near 6.5 to go in the third, Panthers want to get more of an attack going. It's worked on to Niedermeyer. Has a man breaking. Can't get it there. Ricocheted off of Lecision, and Waugh could guide it aside. Well, I believe it was 6.5 minutes you had said earlier, John, was about chance-taking time.
Yeah, we'll see defensemen pinch as much as possible now. Murphy's thinking of it. There he is trying to. They keep it in. Things like that.
Niedermeyer on to Mellanby. Floated one that went by Jovanovski in a 2-on-1. Kamensky with Deadmarsh and Murphy back. Kamensky moves in, and Murphy with the block, and then Kamensky nearly finessed it home on the rebound.
Murphy stayed back nicely. Jovanovski was trying to move in. He's the right defenseman, but the puck sailed high and by him. All of a sudden, the 2-on-1. Remember the goal that Krupp scored? Kamensky faked the shot, made the pass. He tries the same play here. Here's Murphy, and there's Jovanovski. Jovanovski's pinching because they trail. He gets caught. Watch the fake shot and try the pass, but Murphy slid along the ice. A defenseman, when he loses or at least leaves his feet, you've got to make sure you block the pass. Watch Murphy read it beautifully. Extends his body, leaves his arms out, and Kamensky can't make the pass across to his teammate Deadmarsh, who was over there waiting. Kamensky's been everywhere in the last 2 periods, Mike. He's played well.
Big shot by Lefebvre, and that one blocked high by Van Beesbroek. So do we start calling him a rover since he's been all over this? He's a forward, though, so we can't call him that.
The Ozolinsh is out there now, and since it's an offensive face-off, they don't mind having him out there. I don't think he'll be on the ice for a defensive face-off, though.
More time going off the clock. And play is stopped, and they say the face-off will come outside. That Colorado was guilty of freezing the puck. You know, I got some really good news on a guy we talked about when Florida played Philadelphia, Yannick Dupre, the young Philadelphia winger who was diagnosed with leukemia in April. He's due to be released from a Montreal hospital on Wednesday or Thursday. He came out of intensive care last Wednesday from having pneumonia. Now that's been solved. He's going to go home for 2 weeks to get his strength back, come in for 2 weeks of treatment, and doctors say they think he might not have to have a bone marrow transplant after all. So that is really good news, especially if it comes true. And over in Hershey, Pennsylvania, he was playing for Hershey when he was diagnosed. People turned out there. 390 people were processed at a bone marrow screening. So out of all this, even though Yannick may not need that, there may be a matchup for someone else just from the generosity of those people who love this guy.
The good people of Hershey helping out. Good news for Yannick Dupre.
Ahead now comes Keane. Mike Keane fed one up, and it went away from Clem. Haven't seen John Clem that much lately, but fresh legs out there right now to protect as well as almost score. Boy, what work by Keane to get to the front of the net. Parker couldn't play it off. It's Yell rolling it back behind.
And all this happening, the clock is ticking down. There's a good hit by Keane. Clem with the shot. And the Panthers cannot seem to get offense except for the Niedermeyer line.
It is played on to Lindsay. Steps by Young. Shoots one and it hit the post. A wrist shot that found its way to the post from Lindsay. Sakic racking it around in its laws. Having trouble but remarkably able to keep. Dumped it back around. Jabbed at the back of the net and hammered that again out in front but couldn't get it home. And then the puck knocked back out. Law is going back to get it.
Patrick Waugh fortunate twice, Mike. The goalpost hit.
Sakic shot wide. Jammed away by Van Beesbroek. Boy, it's helter-skelter now. Obviously, chance-taking time has come. Shepard trying to work it in. It's jammed over near Lowry. Able to collar it. Swung one right into Waugh, and then he dropped it off. Thrown back out by Sakic, and again the Panthers go back. Hustling back, though, is Scott Young. Warner wedging him down. So now Lowry with 4 minutes to go and his team needing 2. Laid back out for Dave Lowry. Leading goal scorer on this team. Emerging with it is Barnes. Stu Barnes dumps it in. They pour into the zone trying to get it. But instead it's Gusarov lifting it off the glass. Forsberg able to chip it further, but it's off a linesman. Delayed offside wiped. Forsberg to play it there. Virtually non-stop play now as Forsberg wastes one wide. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go in regulation. Pass trickled out to Barnes, who helped it ahead for Straka. Martin Straka right back in, and Waugh to stop it behind. Waugh lifted it back along, got back to his goal crease. Puck kept by Murphy. Out in front, Straka bit one across, and they can't get it by as Waugh came up with it with the glove. Oh, my.
Well, we talked about Patrick Waugh talking to his goal post. Here he's going to listen to one of his posts. Bang, he got a little lucky on that play, but after, watch this save with his catching glove hand on Mellanby. Mellanby, Straka, and Niedermeyer have been the best line for Florida here in the third period. Waugh made the save with his catching glove. The puck was loose. Look at 55, the defenseman come in, Jovanovski. Here's Waugh to the right side, back to the left side. Mellanby went to tap it in. He thought he had his team a goal. Waugh with a magnificent save, and he kept it out.
That line you mentioned stays out. Here's Straka round in front, and the shot hit off the leg. Loose puck, and it's jammed wide as Jovanovski was crashing to the net. Along the board, Straka battling with Gusarov. Help came, though, and it's from Niedermeyer. Fires, and a save made by Waugh with a goal stick. Laid back along again by Straka. Fed it back to the point. Murphy, a shot went off the leg. Straka trying to keep the pressure on. Down the last 2:48 of regulation. The Panthers trail by 2. Along the boards they battle, and it's Niedermeyer hooked at by Ricci. Trying to shake him, still battling. And the puck popped loose over near Straka again. And it is thrown out of play into the third row, and the clock has stopped.
Boy, oh boy, this forward line really working for the Panthers. They can't penetrate. Jovanovski is like a bowling ball driving to the front of the net. He knocked Keane flying. He knocked the helmet off of Keane. That was just moved aside. Mellanby staying out of the crease, working over Adam Foote. Jovanovski there. He's a big kid. He plants himself in front, so the Panthers going with it. 4 men deep, only one defenseman back. But you see, they can't get the puck to them. The Avalanche doing a nice job keeping the Panthers to the outside.
They have overruled a change here that Mark Crawford really wanted to make. Bill McCreary says, no, you guys can't come on. They'll have Fitzgerald working with Ray Shepard now, will the Panthers, and Bill Lindsay. Kartner at left defense, at right defense, Spala. Fitzgerald moving in on the face-off with the veteran Dave Hannon. Foot comes by to get it. Kucherov along for Sakic. Chipped it, but right into Spala. Kucherov will try the other way this time. Foot dumped it back off. They can't get it by Kartner. Pressure on, and Shepard turned it in front, but it's Kucherov bringing it back. 2:15 to go in the third period. Kartner rubbed it back off. Taking it was Lindsay, but he left it behind. Kartner again jammed it across, and Spala moves it ahead. Patrick Waugh to make a play. Helps it back around. Corbet to get it there. Lobbed it back out, but it is jammed on, and then Young sent flying by Fitzgerald, who was able to tip it back on ground for Lindsay. Lefebvre took him out of the play. Sakic trying to work over Garpenlaw. Puck came back now to Murphy. Able to keep play alive. But it is Kucherov lifting it back around. To the boards, Jovanovski can't get the shot away. Young tipped it across, and Sakic emerges. Joe Sakic just lobbing it back in. Sakic has been without a point in this game. Moving it ahead is Jovanovski. Puck taken away by Kamensky. Valerie Kamensky ragging it, and it's taken away by Barnes. We're down to the last minute and 15 seconds. Forsberg got it over to Deadmarsh. Adam Deadmarsh shoots, and it went wide. Brought back out by Lowry. Van Beesbrook at the hash marks. He's gliding slowly to the bench. Kucherov touched up for an icing. Looked as though Van Beesbrook was going to come off. But that is not the case because the faceoff must come back near him on the icing call.
Exactly right. The go-ahead pass, picking offense for the Panthers, did not connect. It resulted in the icing, so Van Beesbrook comes back on to stay for the defensive zone draw. 1:04 to go. The timeouts have not been used. Both teams will set up what they want regarding this very important face-off. For Colorado, they go with Kucherov and Foot, the defense pairing. Yell, Keane, and Clem. Three guys that are noted more for defense than offense. With Colorado playing that percentage. And the Barnes line on the ice for Florida. I thought they might come back with Niedermayer's line for the last minute. But the coaching staff saying no. And they're having fun here in this building.
Maybe they'll get that line on for the last half minute. But we'll see. 1 minute to go. Van Beesbrook again at the hash marks. It's played to neutral ice. Still no control, so Van Beesbrook stays on. Avalanche still controlling. Keane ragging remarkably. Yell gave it up, though. Spala handing it on back. Warner started it ahead, and it's rolled back in, and this will be icing again. And so Van Beesbrook cannot leave.
That knocked off a good portion of what was left for the Panthers. We talked earlier about Keane and Yell, a penalty-killing tandem for Colorado. Well, here they were at even strength, showing why they're so good defensively. And look at these people having fun.
Been better days in these playoffs for Wayne Huizinga, who you saw there just a moment ago. But there may be better days after this. His team has 39.2 in a defensive zone face-off, and they need 2 to force overtime. Niedermayer rolling it back. Jovanovski flings it back down. Again, icing. Now that is being waved off. Kucherov played it back. Murphy there, and a shot right in on Juan. Van Beesbrook now can finally get to the bench.
You know, that was a pretty smart play by Jovanovski. He dumped the puck. It would have been icing, but it went in on Patrick Waugh. And that nullified the icing, maybe even surprising Patrick Waugh. That gave the Panthers a chance to find some offense. And here in the last 6 or 7 minutes, Jovanovski's had a lot of ice time, and he's been very, very, very aggressive. He's been trying to jam Patrick Waugh. He's been throwing punches, been doing a lot. Van Beesbroek had a very strong game here. He allowed 3 in the second period. None of them you would direct at him and say his fault. And he's stopped breakaways. He's kept his team in it here. But this Colorado team, they were dominated somewhat in the first period, but they dominated so much in the second period, it was enough for them to get the 3 goals and in all likelihood the win in game 1.
So the man they call St. Patrick, and they did the same back in Montreal, has over the course of the early evening hours here in Denver faced 27 shots and gotten 26. It was one of the early ones that beat him from Tom Fitzgerald.
I think his goaltending in the first period was real key for his club. His club looked a little nervous. The Panthers looked strong, and he only gave up 1. It could have been more. And then his team readjusted their style of play during the intermission, the first intermission, and then dominated in the second. Jovanovski's in the penalty box. He gets 2 minutes for roughing as he was throwing punches at anybody that was standing around him. So the faceoff, because of that, comes outside the Colorado zone.
Jovanovski for roughing. So Van Beesbroek back in the goal. They'll try to get him off. Got 17.1 to go and really take a chance. We got to get to a tall order. Niedermeyer on the draw with Hannon. Tucked it on back. Van Beesbroek not leaving. Barnes chipped it. Fed back in. Barnes behind the net. Threw one that went all the way back down the ice. And the first game is over. Player of the game, Colorado's Mike Ricci. Dodge is proud to donate $1,000 to the Amateur Hockey Association of his choice. He had the winning goal, and on face-offs today, he was 17 for 21.
And he was a main reason why the Avalanche dominated the second period. Honorable mention certainly to Patrick Waugh, who had the great first period and a strong finish to the game. I think for the Panthers, Mike, they showed they could play here, but then they had more breakdowns and turnovers in the second period alone than they may have had in the entire Pittsburgh series.
You're right.
That has to be addressed. I think it'll be a very interesting series. We'll continue on Thursday night.
Over the course of the evening, 26 shots for the Florida Panthers. So in the third period, they were able to get just 8 for Colorado. 30 shots on goal, and in the third period they had 9. Patrick Waugh signaled as the #1 star of this contest by the media.
And Ricci #2, and Yui Krupp, who played a strong game defensively, named the #3 star here in game 1 of the Stanley Cup final.
So the winning goal scorer and our new Dodge player of the game, Mike Ricci, is downstairs with Joe Micheletti.
Okay, Mike Ricci, congratulations on the victory. It took a little time to get things going. What did you change after the first period to turn things around?
Well, I think we tried to get our forecheck going. We came out a little hesitant in the first period. They play a great style of hockey. They work very hard, and we just didn't come out with our best effort. We picked it up a little bit, got our forecheck going, and we're fortunate to get some breaks.
Now, you scored the winning goal. It came off a faceoff, and you were dominant on the faceoffs in this game tonight. What were you doing to be so dominant?
Well, I don't know. I was just trying to battle as hard as I can. They've got a lot of hard-working centermen who are very good on face-offs. We were well aware of that, and we were told before the game we have to battle. And I just tried to battle. Got a few breaks. The puck went back, and face-offs are a touchy situation. One night you're good, and one night you're not. So hopefully we can just keep consistent.
Again, congratulations on the win, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot.
Back up to you, Mike.
Mike Ricci, scorer of the second goal. In happy Denver, the Avalanche 3, the Panthers 1. Best of 7 is 1-0 the home squad. James Brown, Dave Maloney after this.
Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals coming your way Saturday. The talented and fast skating Colorado Avalanche will play the Florida Panthers in Miami at the Panthers home arena, the Miami Arena. That'll be coming your way Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Fox. And as we welcome you back inside of McNichols Arena, a jubilant crowd still.